Hello, this is Wmpyr here to talk to you guys about long range. For self-defense, long range is to me the most important, and this is my main focus, and this is what I want you guys to work on is long range self-defense, really. Why? Why is that the case? Because yes, there is close range, and of course you could do self-defense in every range. So, there's four ranges: long range, medium range, close range, and ground range. But the other ranges, honestly, they're more difficult. So long range is the safest. It is the most doable. So that's why, and also percentage-wise, I think it is the highest probability rate overall when we're talking about just dealing with someone on the streets, a street altercation. um, yeah, it's 9 times out of 10 is probably going to be long range. Okay, so yeah, when you include everything, it has the most highest probability, in my opinion. So with long range, where do we start with? What we start with is the angles of attack. This is really the most basic. We're starting with the basics. And what I noticed is that in Filipino martial arts, when you first start learning it, everyone learns the angles of attack. When you're learning the angles of attack on day one, and then you keep practicing that, and of course you get better at it, what you're doing there is medium range work. Okay, so the way we do it in Filipino martial arts is you start with power. You do full swings. And that, to me, is medium range. It's best used for medium range. So in long range, how do we do the angles of attack? And that is what I call the micro grid. So you're basically just doing the angles of attack, but much, 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 much more compact, to about this size. And I remember a long time ago talking to a friend of mine, and he introduced me to a guy who was a fencer. And that guy, I believe, introduced a movie to me, a fencing movie, which I don't remember the name. It could have been called White Knights. I don't remember. And in it, they showed training, and the fencer was repeatedly going, from a distance, repeatedly hitting the target and just working on that over and over. And the target was pretty small. So that could have been an influence for me. But anyway, because, Kali Escrima Arnis does have a strong fencing influence. So how do you do it? Well, the way you do it is like this. You extend your arm out, and you're going to do the angles of attack very compact, like so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm keeping it in about this size. Okay, normal angles of attack is 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this kind of thing. This is the kind of full swing that you're doing. So I'm operating in this big of a range. So you're going from that big to about that size, much, much smaller. And of course that could be used empty hand too, with like in boxing as a jab. So with a jab wise, I could be going 1, 2, 3, boom, right here. So keep here. And remember, this is Filipino dirty boxing. This is the street. So as I throw my jab and I'm working the angles here, 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 I can also work the eyes, right? I could go for the eyes as well, because it is, this is street. So that's number one, okay, is making your angles of attack that small. But the goal is, I'm not here to fence them. I'm really doing that just to make it more difficult for them to come to me. Because if I don't present that I'm going to fight back and they just come in, that could be trouble for me. I don't want that to happen. But if I show that I might attack back as well, then that keeps them more at bay. It makes it harder for them to come in, And that's exactly what I'm looking for. The longer it takes, the better. Because in the street, time is ticking. And yeah, the longer it takes for them to attack me, the more it is to my benefit, the better chance I have for survival. They don't want to be here all day beating me up, you know. Okay, so the next thing that I go into is, well, first of all, the microgrid. What really helps with that is that from there, doing this compact motion from here, if they come in and give me an attack, I can go into the force-to-force block. So if they come in, boom, boom, boom. So if I'm doing one of these full swing, boom, like this, I'm going to lose time to go into the force-to-force block. But if I'm operating here, then I can easily boom, 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 right here, boom, right, boom, right. Because my motions are all here. They're compact. They're right here. So if I need to defend, no problem, no problem, no problem. Boom, boom, you know. So I could go into the force-to-force block quicker as well. So it only makes sense to be doing it like that. So number one is the microgrid, okay. Number two, yeah, force-to-force block is huge. Number three really is what I call the poison cloud. So the poison cloud is now, if they are trying to rush in or something, or after I made an attack, let's say, but hopefully my attack is not me stepping in, because then I just made it closer. I gave the illusion that I stepped in, I only leaned. They start charging in. They go, now's my chance. They start charging in. You see, as I'm retreating, I am making this vortex. I'm flailing around. So I'm creating this construct. It's a barrier, is what I'm doing. I'm making this poison cloud that they don't want to enter. So spray the poison cloud and make it difficult for them to pursue you. I don't have to make contact. This is really not about me making contact. It's not about me making damage to the person, because like I said, if I start focusing on that and I start really trying to stab and cut or even hit them, whatever the case, the more I start committing to my attacks, the better it is for them to counter me. So now we're going to be exchanging, and it's going to turn into a brawl. And you definitely don't want to be brawling with knives. So if they have a knife, I don't want to be brawling. So the idea here is this is psychological. They have to deal with this, where they're going, I want to get this guy, but I can't because he's flailing that thing around, and you know, I don't want to get cut. So how do I go? So that's exactly what it is. It's like a ninja throwing a smoke bomb, or a ninja throwing those, what do you call it? Those things that they put on the ground, spikes. I forgot what it's called, but in Japanese, I believe it's called makibishi. I don't know what it's called in English, but or it could just be even marbles, right? You throw marbles on the ground and they're going to be slipping like in a cartoon. So that's the idea, is that I'm really just trying to escape. Okay, so it really comes down to those three. So yeah, that is my long range tactic. And then there's actually a number 4. What is number 4? Number 4 is if they come in, if they pursue and they get closer, I kick. I kick them off of me. Really, that's the idea. I'm not kicking them to hurt them. I'm not kicking. If it hurts them, great. But really, I'm kicking them off of me. Once again, the purpose is so that I could get away. So this whole time, I'm just trying to get away, keep my distance, because I'm interested in survival. I'm not interested in their destruction. I'm not worried about that. You know, there's better days to do that if that's what I really want. But for right now, I just want to survive. This is not the time to try to finish them off. This is the worst time to finish them off, you know. The best time to finish them off would be when they're asleep, or when they're in the bathroom, you know, or when they're in the shower, something like that, right? Obviously to catch them off guard. So this is the worst time, You know, they're super into it. They're super into trying to fight me. I'm trying to disconnect, de-escalate, trying to make it to where there is no fight. I'm just trying to get away and survive. The kicking is, once again, I'm not trying to kick and let's kickbox. No, I'm kicking to push them off of me. Okay. But once again, if those kicks hurt them, hey man, I'm just trying to get you off of me. I'm not trying to kickbox you. Okay. But why kicking? The important part about that is because the idea here of Filipino martial arts is that weapons is far superior than empty hand. And that's a simple, logical statement that I probably call fact, because throughout history, we're fighting with weapons because it's more effective, because it's way better to fight with weapons than without. So we've used weapons throughout history. There's no one that goes into war empty-handed. You know, I'm sure there are exceptions, but anyway, that sounds like a hell of a story. But yeah, so we use weapons, and I don't want to use my bare hands, bottom line. I don't want to use my bare feet. So I am saying kicking if I'm using shoes. So if I'm wearing shoes, chances are I am, then that is like having a weapon. That is not using my bare hands. So I put kicking above empty hands. So that's the order. We start with the micro grid, and then we go into the force-to-force block, and then of course we have the poison cloud, and then number 4 is kicking, but with shoes on, okay, and not high heel, not high heels, because you know if they come off so easily, you're going to be in trouble, and you want to be able to run well, and run a distance if you need to. So you know, we want solid shoes, and those solid shoes can really aid you in combat much better than empty hand. So that's the way that I view it. So and as far as like kicking high, people are like, for the street you don't kick high. The way that I see it is Bruce Lee was like, hey man, in a real combat, I'm going to use whatever I can, whatever works. So if that's a high kick, if that's a backflip kick, so be it. You know, do a backflip kick. You know, is it? Chances are probably not. Chances are probably lower lying kicks, yes, but don't ever limit yourself by saying I will never throw high kicks. You know, you never know. You never know. So I don't like to think in terms of limitations. You know. So if you can, and in your training, you should practice kicking high. And if you can kick high, well, medium and low become suddenly way easier. All right. So I would practice all of it, and I do. And in a real life situation, you know, I bring everything to the table. So if there's an opportunity for a high kick, sure, I'll do it. But chances are, yes, I'm not disagreeing there. Chances are probably not. Probably not. Okay. But you never know. So don't limit your. So that's the same with me doing grappling. Chances are, in a street, do I want to be on the ground? No. But did I practice grappling? A lot of it for many years? Yes. Was it difficult? Yes. It was the most hardest style. I'm not shy about saying that. For me personally, it was the hardest style. BJJ was the toughest. But you know what? You know, that's not going to stop me. And did I learn it? Yeah, I learned. You know, I don't claim to be amazing or I learned all of it. No, but did I learn? You know, a decent amount? For sure I did. Okay, so don't limit yourself. Okay, and yeah, I see people like they judge. I guess, you know, that says to me a lot about you as a human being. You're judging, and so that's going to creep into other aspects of your life, and you don't want to do that. You know, you want to be open-minded. So if you're going to say that you're open-minded, well, you better walk the walk. And if you're saying things like I never throw high kicks, or you know, grappling is you don't want to be there on the street. So I'm not going to do grappling. You're already closing your mind off, you know. So that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.